Hi guys, so a great alternative when making sort of terrain for Warhammer 40k or any other tabletop board games, and that's to use MDF. It's really cheap, it's nice and lightweight, and well, the amount of things you can make with this is mind-boggling. But obviously, the only problem we do kind of have with MDF is, well, it looks like MDF. So I'm going to show 3 great tips to well, to ways of making this look a little less MDF and more, well, more realistic, I guess. So this is what I'm going to be using. It's a lovely little container. I will leave links down below to where you can get the files for this. But obviously, if you pop along to Thingiverse, lovely and free over there, just type in 3mm MDF, and then loads of things will pop up. So there's a whole variety of stuff from sci-fi to fantasy. But obviously, I'm going to go with this container as well. Containers are a great piece of terrain because obviously they're things to hide behind and jump on top. So to cut this out, I'm using the longer Ray5 miniS. And as you can see, it's a lovely compact thing, especially for sort of the amateur hobbyist like myself who, well, as I'm always saying in a lot of my videos, I don't have a lot of room. So something this size, this compact, is pretty cool because it really can go on your desk or anywhere else. Nice and simple, straight out of the box. This, well, it's already made, so great. All you got to do is plug in the power, plug in a lead to your PC, and turn it on. Obviously, a few safety features on this. It does have a nice extractor fan at the back, which you could mount a hose to sort of put that out the window. And it's got a nice emergency stop button on the side. Obviously, push that, everything will stop. And also the lid. When this is in use, if the lid goes up, again, automatically stops. So obviously, this is nicely coloured in the orange perspex. I would still recommend wearing glasses whenever using this. Again, I will leave links down below, guys. So this was sent to me for free, which is great. So obviously I can get to have a little mess about with it, try it out, and let you know my thoughts on it. And I say a decent little price on this, and it is small, compact, and you can put it, well, almost anywhere. Obviously, I'm not going to chuck out all the details of what it can cut and how it cuts it and the fineness of the thingy because, well, I wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But obviously, click on the link down below and you'll be able to check out all the details for yourself. But say this really is straight out of the box and you're using it. So I've got my MDF. I've got some nice small sheets. Although I got the wrong one. I got 2mm MDF. So you will see in a minute I do have to change some of the settings and bits and pieces on the original file that I downloaded. So obviously this is say nice, small and compact. It does mean some of the files, when you do drag them in to your sort of software, I'm using Lightburn here. Obviously they are meant for like sort of bigger sheets of MDF. That's no problem here because all we need to do is highlight certain areas and then cut them out. Remembering which bits we've cut out so we can then obviously put them in to the next one. So I actually turn this into sort of 4 separate files. So obviously there's 4 different cuts on 4 different little sheets of MDF, which is pretty cool. So say all these files, yeah, say Thingiverse, great place to go. Obviously I have made up my own bits before, very simple to do. But in this case, yeah, Thingiverse is a good friend because you can get the free files and then you can manipulate them and change them. So say that's originally made for 3mm MDF. I had to change a few of the bits and pieces just so when I did it in 2mm, it would all fit together really well. And then it is just a case of clicking a button and away it goes. I say it has got the orange cover, which is a protection from the light. And as you can see, where the actual laser engraver is, there is another protection over that. But again, I would still advise not looking towards it unless you wear the glasses that do come with it, just to well, just to be nice and sort of safe and all that. So I have sped this footage up a little bit because obviously I had on a slower setting. Because again, you can change the settings, or the way settings that I always change are the speed and the strength of the laser. And this obviously depends on what kind of material you're using and obviously how you want to cut it. So obviously going slower is better because then you don't burn the material. If you do burn it, then when you take these out, your fingers will be as black as anything because obviously the wood is burnt around the edges and it can sort of ruin the look of how the thing comes out. So going slower does get a nice cleaner cut. And I believe I did 2 passes over everything. And yeah, everything came out absolutely perfectly. I say this is a great starter laser engraver if you've never had one before, purely because obviously it's a great price and the size of it. the fact that this really can go anywhere. And when it's not in use, yeah, I can put this in the cupboard. In fact, this that does actually fit on my shelves, so I can just put this on the shelf rather than it going into the shed or well hiding somewhere else. So decent size, decent price, but it gets the job done, which is definitely the main thing here. So it didn't take that long at all to get all the pieces cut out. So it is great. You can just push a button, it does its bit, and then you can obviously carry on doing, well, whatever it is on your desk, which in my case is typically painting orcs. So yeah, you just push the thing to the side, pull it out, and say, yeah, everything is cut out beautifully. I've been using sort of laser engravers for about 3, 4 years now. Absolutely love these things in what they can do. As I say, you can make up your own files, so you really can make whatever you want. Or say you go on Thingiverse, get someone else's files, and then you can adapt them to get them to exactly, yeah, exactly what you want. So there's no way I'd be able to cut these pieces out by using like a scalpel or a blade. And this is where I love laser engravers. Lovely clean cut edges, and say you can get so much detail in these things. It's just, yeah, they're just a great thing to have. I say, guys, check out the link down below, as there is obviously a reduction on the price of the laser engraver at the moment. So definitely a good time to get into it. So yeah, it's all the bits are here, and then it's almost a case of it's kind of like a bit of Lego or a jigsaw puzzle, putting it all together, which is nice and simple. Obviously, the glue you use, I'm going to use a bit of PVA glue as well. I mean, I'm in no rush for this thing to sort of dry, and obviously PVA and wood is well a perfect mix, really. Obviously, you can use as normal glue; it's entirely up to you. And I say this is where I had to change a few of the settings, because otherwise these slots would have been too deep. They were meant for sort of say 3mm MDF, but somehow I bought 2mm. Yeah, I think it's because I saw so many in one pack. It's like, oh, that's cheap. I'll have some of that. And then, yeah, just build it up, build it up. So nice and simple, nice and quick and easy. And the fact you can get so much terrain is amazing. But as I say, the thing with MDF is, well, it can still look like MDF. So yeah, I've got 3 little tips on what I normally do to my MDF sort of terrain, just to make it look, well, not so much like MDF terrain. And that first thing is to kind of accessorize what you've got. So yeah, I've got a nice looking container here, but we can add some more bits. So I've got some of this thin sort of plastic tubing, and yeah, we're going to do some like little crosses on the side. So again, just add in little bits to it that possibly aren't MDF, or there are different kind of, well, in this case, spherical, well, tubes, I guess would be the better word to use there. So just add in things like that. Again, once it's painted, will help it look a little MDF-y. And again, this is something I do with all terrain, whether it's 3D printed, laser engraved, or whatever. I like battle damaged terrain. I possibly go over the top with my battle damage, but that's just me because I do like things to look like they've been around for hundreds of years. They've seen a lot of action. Definitely got bullet holes, nicks, and bits here and there. So using my cheap little Dremel tool, I can just go around, nicking the edges, and even putting some sort of scorch lines through like the center of the bit here. Or these could even almost be claws. Yeah, some big beastie has come along with his claws and just obviously mangled the front. So yeah, this is definitely tip number 2 is just, yeah, give it some battle damage. So it doesn't look like clean, crisp edges, even though I was just mentioning, I love how the fact this laser engraver can give you clean edges. Yeah, for terrain, I like it beaten and bashed. So let's just go around and yeah, give it that 100-year look. But yeah, absolutely love it. So nice and easy to do this. Obviously, it gets a little bit messy, but we can clean that up in just a moment. And there we go. And this next bit, I guess this next bit is step 2.1. Yeah, good old bit of grout. I love using this stuff. It's a great, obviously, hole filler, but I like putting it on bits and pieces as it does add some sort of extra sort of, what's the word? God, man, brain's gone dead. It just gives it that look and feel that it could be like rust coming through. So that's why I love using grout, because obviously this is the main step 3 is to make it look rusty and metallic. And also that's the main way, or one of the main ways of making something that's made from wood not look like it's made from wood. So I primed mine with a lovely orange from the Colour Forge, just because, well, again, this is going to be a rust bucket. I do go over the top again here. I didn't always go over the top with stuff, definitely with washes and stuff like that. But yeah, I want this to be an absolute rust bucket. So sometimes I paint something normally and then kind of add the rust. And other times I like to mix it up a little bit and I'll kind of paint whatever it is I'm doing so it looks like a complete rust bucket and then add some sort of paint on top of that to make it look like the rust is sort of underneath the layer of paint. And obviously most rusts, yeah, they're kind of browns, oranges, that sort of color. So I did that and then I thought, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look rusty enough. So this stuff, yellow oxide patina, yeah, put some of this on. Again, this stuff, I don't do washes, I do baths. So I am going to put loads of this on. This stuff's great because you put it on, give it 15 minutes, it dries, and then it really does add the a very rusty looking texture. So again, this is another great way of making MDF look like it possibly was metal, and obviously doing a bit of dry brushing that definitely gives it the metal look or metallic look. So just hitting all the edges, and again, yeah, it's just simple little things like this that can really sort of enhance and change whatever sort of terrain you're making. Well, I'll do a couple of passes of this because I do this and then I'm kind of thinking, yeah, it's still not quite what I wanted. Again, this is where I love this hobby about painting, making things. You can just spend hours and hours doing it, or you can spend 5 minutes doing it. It's entirely up to you. It's whatever makes you happy. So yeah, I looked at this and I thought, yeah, it's not too bad, but it doesn't look sort of like it merges or mixes very well. So again, this is where I'm going to give it a wash, a bath, and I'm going to go over the whole thing, just to sort of try and tie everything in together. And I think it's a case as well, some of the rust didn't look dark enough. I wanted there to be more contrast in the stuff. So yeah, going over the whole thing with a good old bath. Yeah, it's a wash. Just to help tie everything in and say give it a bit more of a darker look, I guess is what I was going for as well. And then something else I want to do. Obviously, I've got a dark green on there, but now I'm going to do a light green. This is one of my dry brushes that I didn't really take much care of. I'm not very good at cleaning brushes, I'll have to admit. So yeah, this is quite sort of stipply and very hard. And again, this is just great for sort of putting paint on when you want it to look, well, the sort of stippled effect, I guess. So I'm just going to put some of this on to, again, to make it look like it was originally painted green, and then the rust is obviously shining through or coming through from underneath. So say, yeah, two real ways that I normally do this. I'll do rust first and then paint, or I paint and then do rust after. Yeah, it's just fun mixing it up. So the last thing I do, and again, that's the good old dry brushing with silver, just to hit all those edges, just to give it that look and feel that this is a metal container and not a wooden crate MDF one. So yeah, three simple little techniques on how to change MDF terrain. Yeah, and make it look a little less MDF-y and a bit more of what it sort of should look like. And say, obviously, metal container. You want kind of like metal bits on there. And there we go. Obviously, you could then add transfers and other bits and pieces to this to sort of make it look however you want it to look in your Warhammer game or whatever game it is you're playing, really. So yeah, really enjoyed this. So guys, check out the links down below. Definitely have a look at the longer Ray5 miniS. So great starter sort of laser engraver. Definitely a good price and a nice size. And the fact that it being small, but you can still make obviously decent sized terrain pieces, which is pretty cool. So yeah, from a plain boring MDF one to something a bit more yeah, beaten, bashed, and just generally looking better. Okay, guys, let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to see me make next. I say I do love using the laser engravers. They are pretty cool what you can do with them. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave comments, all that fun stuff. You guys take care. See you in the next one. Bye for now.